Alright, welcome back. This is an important day today. The project is due, and not only that, this is the day that you get to learn probably the most powerful tool in Illustrator, the pen tool. So I'm going to go ahead without further ado and get started. And what I'd like you to do is to start the new exercise is log into the course. I'm going to just go be on student view, and as always click on files, and I'm assigning exercise 3 for this week, which is the pen tool exercise, so you can learn to master the pen tool, the most important tool in Illustrator. Anyone have any idea why I say that it's the most important tool in Illustrator? Anyone agree with me or disagree?
It's definitely powerful.
Yeah, what makes it so powerful, do you think?
I mean, the pen, I don't have much experience with it, but for me, like you can make anything with it.
Right. It gives you that power of creating any free-form shape, any shape that comes to your mind's eye. You're not limited to the boundaries of the geometric shapes, or which are a lot of fun. What you can do with Pathfinder, you kind of have to think in a mathematical way, in combining shapes, and you create really nice balanced shapes when you work as we've been working so far. And then other tools allow you to manipulate shapes but can generate a ton of points and get really out of control, and sometimes you just end up with way too many points that that is unnecessary to have that many anchor points, and you end up with your system crashing because all of those anchor points can really add up and bog down your system. And with the pen tool, it allows you to precisely place points just where you need them. So that's one of the reasons I say that it's powerful. I'm going to just go up to the top level folder again and hover over the exercise 3 folder on the right column, and then go all the way to the ... button and click and choose download. And this time it might take a little while longer. Well, it's going pretty fast. Good thing it went fast. For this exercise, I provide you with a lot of materials to work with, so there are lots of files in there. So I'm going now to Finder to get to my downloads, and then the course folder just downloaded as a zip file. I'm going to double click and extract it, and now I can get to exercise 3. I'm not sure why it says 3.2. Can just change the name back to exercise 3. Maybe I have it already in here. Oh yeah, I guess I had this folder in here already. So I'm gonna just go to my new Finder window and go to my folder for this class, which is Tuesday, Thursday class. And I'm going to drag it in here in my folder for the class. Now I'm going to rename it because I don't need. So it's the exercise 3 folder. So just grab that, and then you can just focus on working with the handouts that are here. And then when you're done, remember, you just go back, log back into your course on Canvas and find the exercise 3 assignment page to submit the assignment. There's not much more information on the assignment page itself. It just reminds you to go download the exercise 3 folder from files, and it gives you also a reminder here about submitting the exercises to Canvas, and you do have an extra credit opportunity if you combine all of the. You're doing 7 exercises for this, and if you combine them all into one file using Acrobat, and you can submit one single PDF file that has all 7 of your exercises in it, then you get an additional extra credit of 5 points. So you can get 15 points instead of the regular 10. If you submit 7 as separate files, then you get the 10 points. All right, so let's take a look at what this exercise is all about. So here in the exercise 3 folder, you'll find a bunch of handouts, and you'll find, let's see, we're going to learn more about the tools that work with the pen tool, like the about the anchor point. In the about the anchor point tool handout, we'll learn all about this very important tool, which I think I've given you a little bit of information on already, but here's a handout that's specific to the anchor point tool. It spotlights it and the important job that it does for us and works with the pen tool. And then what else? Then we have a handout here about layers. Thanks for signing in. Okay, I'll check the chat in a little bit and make a note of that. Thank you. All right, so this one is about layers that you can look over, which is going to be helpful for this exercise to have more of an understanding of how layers work. This is a little diagram I made a long time ago when I was on Illustrator. It was like CS3, and it was on a PC. So the graphics look a little different, but it gives you conveys the same concepts that are important. Then we have the assignment instructions here. EX3 assignment, that's going to be important to look at. And important Illustrator info. This is your roadmap here for using the pen tool. It's got all these different little signals, little symbols that the pen tool signals to you to communicate with you. So this is the roadmap to learning the language of the pen tool, and in becoming fluent in the language of the pen tool, you will become a master of the pen tool, the most powerful tool in Illustrator, and you will have that power in the palm of your hand and in your mind, because it involves a lot of thinking at first until you will just kind of know it by heart. So stay in the beginning. It's always frustrating, but just don't give up. Keep the faith that you will get there. Just keep working. And this exercise, the reason why there's a lot here in this exercise is because of the importance of the pen tool, and because it does take practice to master the technique. So practice makes perfect. And don't be hard on yourself if you don't finish in a week. Just, try your best. I won't count it late, but this is gonna really prepare you for the next Illustrator project. So I would encourage you to get as much done as you can this week, and then you can be ready for next week. All right, so try to stay on track with that. Okay, so what else is here? Keyboard shortcuts. This is going to really speed up your workflow, so I'm going to be referring to the keyboard shortcuts as we go. And then if I look back on the assignment, the EX3 assignment, you'll see that the assignment is going to go hand in hand with the folder that's here that I titled the Pen Tool X Files. And so I'm gonna change the view of this from column view to icon view so we can get a better look and make the icons bigger. to see what's all here in the Pen Tool X files. I'll just kind of try to make them bigger so you can see, and then I'm gonna arrange my icons, clean up by name. There we go. Okay, so there are 5 exercises that I put together here that include templates. So they include lines and shapes. Some of them, when I say lines, I mean open paths, and shapes are closed paths. Some of them are asymmetric and a few are symmetric in shape. So all of the different shapes, there's straight lines meeting at curves, and straight lines meeting together at corners. Some are, straight. Some are very smooth curves. So basically, you'll be able to practice every single type of shape and curve or contour that you need in creating any imagery that could possibly come to your mind's eye that you could create with the pen tool. So it's a thorough practice, and the way you do this is you're going to be tracing the template line, and then after you go all the way around and you finish the template line, then there's a little reward at the end that I consider to be fun to do. So I consider it like the icing on the cake of the assignment, which is the step where you get to create a clipping mask. So underneath each template, you'll find some locked objects, and included among the locked objects is a raster image, a photographic, or an image that's made of pixels, and you'll get to delete the template and then use your own line that you created, or your own path that you created, or in some cases a compound path. We're going to learn the difference between paths and compound paths and how to create clipping masks. So a clipping mask is a feature or an object that you create by combining a path or compound path with other paths in some cases, or with an image, so that imagery can be revealed within the mask and other parts of the image can be hidden or masked. So what you're going to do is create a clipping mask where an image shows inside of the shapes here, inside of the areas that are concave, where a fill would go. In place of that, you'll get to create a clipping mask. So I'll show you how that works. Then finally, the last 2 are I titled Your Own, because by the time you're done practicing all 5 of the exercises, then you're ready to create your own design. So you have the choice of creating a shape, a closed path or an open path, or a compound path that is symmetric for one of your owns, and asymmetric for the other. And it doesn't matter which one you make symmetric and which one you make asymmetric. And if you know how to place an image into Illustrator, you could switch out the image that I provide and place a different image. But if you're not sure, just wait, because I'm going to be teaching about placing images for next week. When we start the project, you're going to get to choose a photographic image to work with for the next project. And just a heads up about the next Illustrator project, you get to choose a photographic image. It should be an image captured by a camera of something in real life, not a picture of an animation or an image of of something that's highly processed, that's already digital art, like CGI from a movie. Not anything like that. Just, you know, just a purely straightforward image captured by a camera, a photographic image. The only not a photograph of anyone else's art, except if it's your own. That's the exception. And from that image, you will get to use the pen tool and other vector tools that I'm going to be teaching to build that image into, or capture from that image, a vector art rendering, or like digital painting or digital illustration from the photograph. So that's what you have to look forward to for next week. So you might want to start image searching and thinking of an image that you could enjoy looking at for extended periods of time. You'll have 2 weeks to do the next project, which I'll be talking to you about in more detail. And this exercise is just going to prepare you with the skills to be able to do the project. Okay, thanks for signing in the chat. I'll be sure to include you on the roster. Okay, there are special instructions for your own parts to the assignment, and also to the waves and curves. For this one, the one that it's called Waves, EX3 Waves, and it has waves and curves. This one has special instructions. I'd like you to take the challenge to follow those instructions, to be very precise with your placement of points, and to create, for this one only, you're going to be creating a compound path, which we'll talk about in detail in a little bit, which is a combination of paths combined into one object. And that's important because in order to make a clipping mask, you need to either use one single path or combine paths into a compound path. So the rest of them should be made in one single path. So we'll talk about how to do that.